Hello, how y'all doing? It's time for another diecast flashback, and this time we have a Corgi Toys Aston Martin DB4. Corgi made this model from 1960 till 1965. They made a few variations. They made a couple different colors. I also have a yellow version and a competition, which is dressed up like a race car. As you can see, we've got lots of DBs in front of us. There's a long history of the Aston Martin DB series. It started out in the late 40s with the DB1. Here's a card, a trading card of a DB1. That's another hobby I have. We won't get into that right now. But you can see this one. It's a pretty slick car. Kind of looks like a Jaguar a little bit. But that was the first one, a DB1. Now DB stands for David Brown. David Brown was like a tool and guy company owner. He had bought the Aston Martin company, which was owned by two different guys, a Lionel Martin and a guy named Bamford. The Bamford guy, he kind of got out of it, and they changed the name to Aston Martin. Lionel, he was a race car driver, and there was a place some of you guys may have heard of called Aston Hill. It's in Aston Clifton. Now, where that is, I couldn't tell you, but I'm sure some of you fellas probably heard of that. But anyway, David Brown, they wanted to go into racing and did the DB series. They started out with the #1 car right here. Then they moved on up to in the early 1950s to the DB2. Now this one is a Matchbox. This is one of the earlier versions. This one was about 1958. Matchbox came out with this. Pretty cool car. Take a look at the bottom of that. Aston Martin by Lesney. Then, they progressed into the DB3 in the early to mid 50s. Now, this one is a DB3S, and this is a Crescent toy company, also from Great Britain. Pretty nice model. And I have another model of a newer company called Spark. And man, they make some really nice cars. This one is 1954 Le Mans. This is the coupe, the hardtop. That's really very detailed, beautiful paint job on these cars. That is a very cool car. And this is a DB3S also. And then, of course, they progressed on up to the DB4. Here's the DB4 version. This is a Solido, made in France. Solido car company, a toy company, sorry. This is the DB4. And, of course, we all know what happened then. They came out with the DB5. This is a Corgi's James Bond. Made this car infamous. This is the second version of the Aston that Corgi made. The first one was gold in color, a little bit smaller. This one, I think, is more true to form than the first. It's got the little guy. There he is. Oh, where'd he go? He's in there. What's he doing in there? Anyway, then we got Dinky Toys. They made, this is a convertible. This is also a DB5. Pretty nice model here. Doors open. It's got decals for the door carbs and the dash. You can see that in there. Really nice car. Very nice. DB5. Now the DB3s were in the mid to late 50s. The 4s were into the 50s and early 60s. You know, we came all the way through the 60s. And then we got into the late 60s and early 70s with this version. This is a Poly Toys. This is the DBS. Open doors. This one is a left-hand drive. And then we moved into the next era from the 70s all the way up to about 1989. They made this car for about 20 years, this same model. This is the V8. And this one is a French company. It was a kit. It is a Heco Models. Check out the base on that. This one is all plastic, but it's still a pretty nice version of it. So there you have it. That's pretty much the history of the DB Aston Martin and what I have to show for it. So let's get into this one. This is the one that I'm going to be restoring. It's got a opening bonnet on it, or hood, as we call it over here, on this side of the pond. Now I've drilled this one out. Let's check it out. It's got a little bit of fuzz in there. Now I'm going to have to take my soldering iron and melt that plastic around that rivet that's in there. And then there's also one holding this hood here. And I'll have to see that one. It's got one right there. And it also has two right here and here, and that's for that grill, I guess. No, that's for the motor. That holds the motor in. One there and one there. And this holds the hood. Got a lot of pieces. We've got the good old yellow plastic interior with the steering wheel. It's in pretty good shape. Got good suspension on this. These tires, I might be able to reuse those. Those are pretty nice. I'm going to have to use my puller. I got one of these little gear pullers here. I'll have to use that to take these wheels apart. Well, I stopped recording. I went ahead and took it apart, or drilled it out. These, I drilled out these rivets here that hold this motor in. They should pop right on out now. And there it goes. And the hood. It came out too. I drilled this out. This piece went on here. And it helped give a little spring action on the bonnet. And I really wish I hadn't messed with that. I really didn't need to do that. So anyway, and I went ahead and drilled out that plastic thing, the glass there. It should come out. Maybe not. I'll probably have to work on that a little bit more, I guess. So This tool I got, I'm sure y'all have seen people use this. This is a really handy little tool. You just line that thing up, get it in that hole, get it lined up in the peg there. Let's see. Come on now. And then just open it up. Push it on through. And there it comes. And man, that is a neat tool. I think old Kev, he had one of those, so where I first saw it. You ought to check his channel out. He's got a good one. And but anyway, we got most of it apart. Well, let's see what I can do with this one. And I invite you all to stay to see how it turns out. And I'll see you in the next one. Now that's a flashback. Have a good one.